$21,744. That was the list price for a month of one cancer drug on Medicare's list. Starting January, Medicare has negotiated it down to $8,650. A cut of $13,000 a month, and for the person actually taking it, the amount they pay next year changes by nothing, not 1 cent. That is not a loophole, and nobody hit it. It is arithmetic, and once you see it, you can tell in about 10 seconds which of these 15 drugs puts money back in your pocket, and which ones only move money between Medicare and the insurance company. Let me show you the whole thing. Medicare negotiated prices on 15 prescription drugs. Those prices take effect January 1st, 2027. All 15 are Part D, the drugs you pick up at a pharmacy counter. None are Part B. That matters, and I'll come back to it. The headline numbers are real, and they are large. Ozempic, Rybelsus, and Wegovy, treated as one, go from $959 a month to $274. Trelegy, the inhaler, $654 down to $175. Breolipta, $397 down to $67. Janumet, $526 down to $80. Now, two things about those numbers, because both trip people up. First, that $274 is an average. Medicare's own guidance sets the price per 30-day equivalent supply, weighted across every form and strength the drug comes in. So real package prices differ. The Ozempic pen comes out at $276.78. The Wegovy carton of 4 pens is $385.63. Both correct. Both Medicare's. They answer different questions. So when you hear $274, hear about that for a typical month, averaged across the forms. Not that's the price on the box. Second, the old number, the $959, is a manufacturer list price. Medicare labels it plainly, wholesale acquisition cost. It is not what Medicare was paying, and it is not net of rebates. Medicare says so in its own footnote. One more piece of scale so you know how many people this touches. Medicare reports that in 2024, about 5.3 million people out of 53 million with Part D coverage used one of these 15 drugs. Between them, they paid $1.7 billion out of their own pockets. So it is roughly one Part D enrollee in 10. Not everybody, but a very large number of households. And the drugs on this list are ordinary ones. Inhalers, diabetes pills, a constipation medicine. Right. So who actually saves money? This is where the cap comes in, and the cap is the whole story. In 2027, Part D has a deductible of $700 and an out-of-pocket limit of $2,400. Once your own spending on covered drugs reaches $2,400, you pay nothing more for the rest of that calendar year. That is in the regulations, and it is a hard stop. Now think about what that does to a very expensive drug. Take that cancer drug, Pomalyst. Old basis, $21,744 a month. Your first fill, the $700 deductible, then 25% of the rest. $5,261, $5,961 in total. Except you never pay that. You hit the $2,400 cap partway through, and your year is over. On the first fill, now the negotiated price, $8,650. First fill, $700 deductible, then 25% of the rest, $1,987.50. $2,687.50. Also over the cap. Also done on the first fill. Also $2,400 for the year. Same year. Same total. The $13,000 cut went entirely to Medicare and to the plan. And Pomalyst is not alone. I ran all 15 through the same model. 9 of the 15 come out exactly the same for the person taking them. Shifaxan, Vraylar, Otezla, Austedo, Ofev, Xtandi, Pomalyst, Calquence, Ibrance. 9 drugs, enormous price cuts, zero change to what the patient pays across the year. I want to be careful and fair here. because this is not a scandal. And I am not accusing anyone of hiding anything. Medicare published every single number I just used. And Medicare's own estimate of what people save out of pocket is $685 million against a program-wide figure of $12 billion. About 5.5%. Medicare is not concealing that ratio. It falls out of it. The reason is simply that the out-of-pocket cap was already protecting the heaviest users. That is what the cap was built to do. The negotiated price then works behind the cap, lowering what Medicare and the plan pay. Both things are true at once. A word on what this is. This is educational. How a Medicare payment rule works. It is not advice about which plan you should be in, and I am not looking at your situation. Every figure comes from Medicare's own documents, linked below. And to be clear about scope, this episode covers the 15 negotiated Part D drug prices, and how the out-of-pocket cap interacts with them. Your Part B premium, IRMAA, Medicare Advantage plans, the 15 different drugs arriving in 2028, and standalone drug plan premiums are all not covered here. Those are separate episodes. So where does your money move? The everyday drugs. And this is the good news in the episode. Under that same model, Trelegy, the inhaler, saves about $1,350 over the year. Genumet, $1,338. Tradjenta, $1,230. Linzess, $1,209. The Ozempic group, about $1,053. Breo Ellipta, $990. 6 drugs. Real money, landing in the pocket of the person holding the prescription. See the pattern? The drugs costing $20,000 a month blow past the cap either way, so the cap was already your protection. The drugs costing $400 or $600 a month, you were paying 25% of that all year and never reaching the cap. Those are where a lower price becomes a lower bill for you. It is almost the reverse of what the headline suggests. The biggest price cuts do the least for you. The moderate ones do the most. There is a middle group worth knowing about too. Efoxin, Otezla, Vraylar. The cap still catches you both ways, so your annual total does not change. But you reach it later. Cefoxin moves from the 3rd fill to the 8th. Same yearly cost. The money is spread out instead of landing in January. Easier on a monthly budget, even though the total is identical. Now the practical question. Do you see the lower price at the counter, or claim it back later? At the counter. Medicare's guidance says it plainly. The negotiated price is the basis for what you pay at the point of sale, and you will not pay more than that negotiated price at the pharmacy. There is a delay in this system, but it is not yours. It sits between the manufacturer and the pharmacy. The pharmacy buys at its normal cost and is made whole afterwards, averaging around 21 days. You are not in that loop. No form, no rebate, nothing to file. A few more things, briefly. These 15 are all Part D. The first Part B drugs, the ones given in a doctor's office, arrive in the next round, and those prices take effect in 2028, not next year. And the legal question is settled enough to plan around. The Supreme Court declined to take up 6 manufacturer challenges in May. As of Medicare's most recent data file, no drug on this list has been removed, added, or delayed. So what do you do with this? 2 things, neither of them long. 1. Find your drug on the list. If it is one of the 6, Trelegy, Genumet, Tradjenta, Linzess, Breo, or the Ozempic group, your own out-of-pocket number should fall next year, and it is worth checking your plan's 2027 pricing during open enrollment to see it. If it is one of the 9, your annual cost likely will not move, and knowing that in advance saves you a disappointment in January. 2. If any of this is hard to afford, ask about 3 things by name: extra help, Medicare savings programs, and the Medicare prescription payment plan. That last one spreads your out-of-pocket costs across the year instead of front-loading them. 3 doors, all free, 1-800-MEDICARE, 24 hours a day, Medicare.Governor, and your state health insurance assistance program, SHIP for one-to-one counseling at no cost. One honest caution before I go. Everything I calculated uses Medicare's standard benefit design, because that is the only design anyone can compute from published figures. Most real plans use their own copay tiers instead. The direction is certain. Those 6 get cheaper for you. The exact dollar amount belongs to your plan, and only your plan can tell you, which is the same lesson this program keeps teaching. A very large number was negotiated on your behalf. Whether any of it reaches your pocket depends on a completely different number, the cap you are already protected by. Look up your own drug. That is the whole job.